And so, you're looking for a job in Denmark. Maybe you have already sent many CVs, hundreds of them, and no one has even responded to you. It could be that you make some fundamental mistakes that prevent you from finding the job you dream of. But now, here for you 7 powerful tips that will greatly increase your chances to find work here in Denmark. Ready? Let's not waste time. Let's get started. Number 1. Look in the right place. There is a main website about jobs dedicated to English speakers in Denmark. With no surprise, its name is Work in Denmark, and it's a great place to start. However, it's the website that everyone knows, and therefore you will have a lot of competition. And so, where to search? A good place is also Facebook, but if you want to dig even deeper, you have to search in the apps. LinkedIn is widely used in Northern Europe, but there are other specific Danish apps. You may not be able to see them in your app store, but if you change your store region, you will be able to download them. For example, Worky, an app where you can find many job adverts for the Copenhagen area, but there are so many of them. Just change the store region and try searching. Number 2. Also consider temporary employment agencies. The job market in Denmark is very fluid, and changing job often is considered normal, especially for newly arrived expats. All the large European temporary agencies such as Randstad or Adecco operate in Denmark, but also other local ones. The magic word you need to know is Vicar. Vicar in Danish means temporary agency, so now you know what to look for. Perhaps on Google? How about typing the word Vicar and the name of a Danish city you would like to move to? How about type Vicar and the name of the job you are looking for? The result could be interesting. Before moving to tip number 3, if this video has been useful to you so far, please give it a like, or maybe consider subscribe to the channel. Many more useful content will come in the future if the channel grows. You don't want to miss them, right? So please subscribe, it helps me a lot and doesn't cost you anything. Done? Okay, let's move on. Number 3. Consider the seasonality of the job market. Especially if you are among those who intend to leave early and find work later. Well, you have to consider that Denmark is a country very influenced by the climate and the seasons. If you belong to a certain category of workers, you work in tourism for example, it is good to know that in summer, tourism in Denmark is very strong, and therefore there is more demand for workers. While in winter, well, really, who would ever visit Copenhagen in February? On the contrary, certain types of jobs that take place outside, such as door-to-door deliveries or construction, they struggle to find people willing to work in winter because no one wants to do it. So before leaving, or even when you send a CV, try to ask yourself if it is the right time for the type of job you are looking for. You will have less competition if you know how to be in the right place at the right time. Number 4. Use the cover letter in your CV. In Denmark, but I think everywhere in the world, it is something very appreciated to see that you have sent your CV to them for a choice, for a real reason, and not that you have spamming 100 a day to every company you find in the internet. It is more effective to send just one CV a day, but well thought out and with a cover letter rather than sending 100 at random. So take your time, Find the website or Facebook page of the company where you want to work. Collect information and write a nice cover letter that explains why you are the right person they need. Number 5. Don't waste your time on jobs that require Danish. Of course, if you know Danish, then yes, but otherwise you should avoid applying for jobs like that. It is true that Denmark is an English-friendly country, but not all companies accept foreign staff. How to know beforehand? Well, obviously, if a job advert is in Danish, it's aimed at the Danish speakers, but things are not always that simple. Generally speaking, we can say in Copenhagen 80% of jobs are for English speakers, but in the rest of Denmark this percentage is lower. By concentrating your search in the larger cities, you will have a better chance of finding English-friendly jobs. Number 6. This is the most obvious tip, but it is also the most powerful one. To be in Denmark. If you have a Danish telephone number and a Danish address in your CV, perhaps also a CPR number, you are at a great advantage compared to all those who send CVs from far away. So, if it is possible for you to do so, plan a trip to understand the situation here and look for work directly here, introducing yourself in person or perhaps at least getting the Danish telephone number. This increases your chances to get a job by 1000%. And here we come with the 7th and final piece of advice. Don't worry too much about work. Yes, you heard me right, and I know what you are thinking. This guy on YouTube is crazy and is telling me to get a job is not important. No, of course it's important, but what I want to say is that get a job in Denmark, especially in Copenhagen, is really easy if you search in the correct way. I know, if we start a new life abroad, the first thing we worry about is having a job, and that's fine, but we risk to underestimating other things that are more difficult to obtain and equally important. I have spoken and met hundreds of expats, and we have almost always all agreed on the fact that finding a place to sleep in Copenhagen or obtaining Danish documents are much more difficult tasks than finding a job. So don't worry too much about work. Everyone has found it, and you will find it too. And so these were my 7 tips. I hope you found them useful, and subscribe to the channel. If you want to leave me a question, use the comments. I'll help you if I can. If you are interested in the process of obtaining documents and other aspects of work in Denmark and Northern Europe, search in the channel. More videos as to come. Bye bye. Stay hungry. Stay foolish.